How many times should you post the same piece of content?
Until my audience starts to say, okay, Ross, I've seen that enough. And you know when that will be?
Never.
Exactly.
We create a ton of video content. What's the best way for us to redistribute that?
Once the video is live, it has to go on YouTube. I think
on Google, when you do search, like YouTube Shorts might pull it out.
Exactly. Then what I would say you do is you use a tool like Distribution.AI, shameless plug, and it will automatically write a blog post about the YouTube transcript. You look at the current landscape of entertainment, YouTubers, the folks that are like the goats of this content game. What would you say are the things that they're doing right that nobody in B2B is doing right?
They create for audience enjoyment. And in B2B, I think most people have this expectation of we have to create for some kind of measured metric.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 7, episode 7 of the EventShark TV Podcast. We got a special guest. We got Ross Simmonds, the king of content distribution, author, and what are you? You're a best-selling author, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Best-selling author. That's what they say. Yeah, best-selling author of Create Once, Distribute Forever.
He's a kick-ass marketer.
Appreciate you.
Create Once, Distribute Forever. Here's the book right here, proven. I actually read it, have not finished it, but the message is important. It's true for every marketer to know.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I think more people need to embrace the philosophies and the mantras. You guys live it, so yeah, let's dive in. I'm excited for this. Thanks for having me on.
All right, and we got the sunglasses on because I walked in and Ding was wearing sunglasses, so I threw mine on too.
I'm an influencer. What can I say?
It's bright in here. We've got a lot of bright minds and bright glasses.
Well, I'm just trying to retain my vision in the presence of a star. Right?
You got lines.
Dude, all right. We got, sometimes like people start off like, what's your story? We're just going to get into rapid fire questions.
I love it.
This is me and Ding argue this. What's more important, creation or distribution?
Distribution is the most important thing for people who already know how to create. Creation is the most important thing for the novice because the novice hasn't done it yet. So like if you're great at creating and you understand the fundamentals, distribute. But if you already understand the fundamentals, you got to be all in on distribution.
That's a bar. Editor, throw an air horn in there. That was the most succinctly stated version of something, this idea that I've had in my head. But that's why we got the OG in the house.
Here.
Also, I want to preface it too. We saw you speak at Exit 5's.
Yes.
Dude, frickin', if you haven't seen that video, that YouTube video.
It's on YouTube.
For this podcast, I actually pulled the whole transcript of that video.
Oh, really?
And then want to build on some of the questions that we're going to be building on top of that speech. But you frickin' killed that speech.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, your energy is electric. Thanks, like just on stage.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, I try to bring good energies. It's easy to go to sleep when you're at an event, so I try to bring some jokes, bring some value. That's what it's all about.
I don't know. You just got to watch the top.
Watch the video.
We'll link it, but we're gonna keep going to some rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
What's one B2B trend that's overhyped?
Oh, overhyped. I think the demise of SEO is overhyped. Like everybody is talking about how SEO is dead, but people are completely missing the point. When they say SEO is dead, they're thinking about Google. They're not realizing that people do search everywhere. People are searching on TikTok. They're searching on Instagram. They're searching on LinkedIn. They're searching on Reddit. That's still search. You're still optimizing for search. So people are completely misconstrued about this idea of SEO being dead.
So how do you do SEO right in the day of ChatGPT?
You embrace the same fundamentals that you would have before ChatGPT. Like this is where a lot of people don't understand the way that the LLMs work. In the back end of a ChatGPT is essentially Bing. Bing is a search engine, and when you use deep research, what does it do? It goes to Bing and it uses a query the same way that a human would use Google, and then it looks for things, and then it goes to those pages and it pulls the data and the words, and then it puts it into the response. The same thing happens with Gemini, except it's using Google. So what brands need to do is just create content that still is optimized for search, but just recognize that there's a double whammy in terms of the value you're going to get.
So we create a ton of video content. I'm kind of skipping ahead. We create a ton of video content. What's the best way for us to redistribute that?
So many ways.
SEO.
Once the video is live, it has to go on YouTube. Everybody's big into other platforms. Cool. I don't think you should really put all your eggs in those baskets. I think
on Google, when you do search, like YouTube Shorts might pull it out.
Exactly. So it's like you got to put it on YouTube. That's the first play. You need to make sure that your show notes are tight. Make sure that the description is strong. Make sure that you are embracing the captions, all that good stuff. Identify the key moments. Make sure that that's happening. Then what I would say you do is you use a tool like Distribution.AI, shameless plug, But you take your YouTube video, you plug it into Distribution.AI, and it will automatically write a blog post about the YouTube transcript that was there. You then take that blog post, you're going to upload it as a net new blog on your website. The title of it is going to be the topic that you and the person that you're interviewing or that you talk to discussed, and you're going to optimize that title for search. You're going to embed the video that you already created at the top of that blog post, and you're going to embed it, and you're going to press publish. Then you're going to schedule some tweets and some LinkedIn posts to go out over the next few quarters that are going to promote that blog post, as well as take that video and identify a few clips where you can chop it up and then redistribute those on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts over the course of the next few weeks as well. Then you're going to take that blog post, you're going to go to a subreddit where marketers are spending time, you're going to submit it there, and you're going to use ChatGPT to write the caption that's going to go into it. It's going to go live in that Reddit, and you're going to get responses and comments. You're going to reply to those people. You're also going to send a newsletter to your email list saying, we just pressed publish on this video, link to it. Make sure that you put up a LinkedIn post right before you send that email, and you include a link to that LinkedIn post so the people who are on your list are liking and commenting, so you get a boost in the algorithm. Rinse and repeat that philosophy and that approach. Look and see if somebody's writing a cool comment about the content that you've created. Now go out and make sure that you're creating more content about those topics, and that's how you do it.
Dean, do you think Ross knows what he's talking about?
Oh, with beyond a shadow of a doubt.
I had to take my glasses off for that one. You guys know Jurassic Park when they're like,
right?
he knows concept.
Yeah, he knows his thing. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah. That's the playbook, man. Yeah. But it's work, right? Like people don't want to do it because it's work. Yeah. But you do it.
Well, Jake, looks like we gotta step our game up.
Hey, Distribution.AI. Shameless plug again, but check it out.
We'll get that. We'll dive into your new company.
Cool.
And later, once we finish rapid fire.
We've got so much to do. We're still on the rapid fire.
We're still on the rapid fire.
I'm going to be rapid. I'm going to stop talking lots.
No, it's all good. If you got bars to drop the bars.
That's fair.
What's a content format for B2B brands you love?
Video. I absolutely adore video because it's the most repurposable asset that you can create. You can take the audio and just turn it into a podcast. You can take the text and turn it into a status update, a LinkedIn post. You can clip it up into multiple assets. Video is just ridiculously versatile. And in the age of AI, everybody wants to connect with people. And if you are a human who can talk and communicate well, people will see you and they'll resonate with that. And that is still super powerful. And yes, there's tools like HeyGen that can create a synthetic version of yourself. But there's something to be said for the human interaction that allows for that personal connection, right? And I think that is why video is still important. You can read a blog post that is from me and not be sure if Ross wrote it. But if you're listening or seeing me move and my head moves and I'm blinking and I have 10 fingers, you know it's me. There's no question. And I think that's why video is still gold. Finger check.
We have 10 fingers over here. How many fingers you got, Ding?
I got 11. Just want to make sure you're paying attention.
That's it.
One point about the video thing that's interesting. We go to a lot of events, right? And I think video is really good for building a stronger parasocial relationship than any other medium of content. And I think there's something to be said of over the past few years, especially in the B2B side, had a lot of fluffy content, right?
Yeah.
And folks that built an audience, not necessarily through subject matter expertise or domain specific knowledge, just kind of surface level conversation. And then when I've gotten feedback from people that go to a lot of conferences, like some people you meet them in person, and it's like the level that they're able to operate at versus the perceived prestige of their audience does not match, right? So, but when you do video, you have to know your shit, because the camera's ruthless, and then the way you show up on camera versus how you show up in real life is going to be the same.
It's exactly the same,
and it's that credibility and trust.
I love that. That's a good point.
I feel like a lot of people, Ding, it's a kind of a joke that everyone doesn't know how smart Ding really is, because it's like the sales rapper and like he makes raps, but Ding's smart shark cookie.
Ding's smart. I know. We had some conversations. I was like, oh, you know more than you pretend you know.
You gotta be smart to rap all those bars. If you listen to Ding's lyrics, they're good.
Most musicians are underrated.
Yeah, so if you want to learn how to write copy, go be a rapper for 15 years.
It's true. It's true.
If you had to grow a B2B company with zero paid, what would you do?
Zero paid media. But I can buy things.
Your budget's $0.
$0. I got my phone.
Got your phone.
Okay. I would.
What would you do if you didn't have your phone?
Steal
I
photos.
don't know. True. That would probably be the first thing.
Okay, let me repeat that question. What would you do to grow a B2B company if you had $0?
I would figure out who my ICP is, the ideal customer that I'm trying to talk to. I'd create a daily show where I'm going to invite guests on a daily show. Like the amount of content that you have to produce to do daily is crazy. But I'm going to create a daily show with high production, and I'm going to talk about things they care about every single day, invite guests, and we're going to
You get $0. How do you do high production?
High production, my phone. My phone can be high production.
All right.
I see some killers with their phone.
True.
So I'm going to figure that out, how to make a killer video
Okay, cool.
pod with my phone. And then every day I'm doing that. And then I'll get revenue from that.
Doing daily stuff is so hard.
So hard. But
So
the
hard.
hardest things are what lead to the best results. Everybody wants the easy way out. If you want to live an easy life, you can put out one post a month.
What's the daily show? So give me an example.
Give me an industry.
SaaS tech.
SaaS tech. So every day I'm going out and I'm going to talk about the news breaking in SaaS. So I'm going to look at and connect to an RSS feed like TechCrunch, TechMeme, whatever, Reddit, Hacker News, and I'm going to filter through and identify all the top stories. Then I'm going to talk about what's happening in the news. I might invite a guest, people who have a bigger following than me, to come on, and we're going to talk about the SaaS tech news. Ideally, there's some controversial news, and I can bring in the person who was a part of the controversy, or somebody raises funding, and I'm going to invite their VCs and their team. They view that as a great opportunity. The whole time I'm going to be talking about my product that is for SaaS tech folks, and it's going to have a big banner at the bottom, sponsored by so-and-so. And I'm just going to milk it and do it every single day. And I think if you did it literally for a quarter, if you don't have customers, you probably are doing something very wrong. Like your product's broken. Like there's no way you can't do that unless you're bad on camera and not reach your people and get leads and pipe.
So you're not doing outbound sales.
No.
I think it goes to the whole.
Too noisy right now. You have to stand out. I would try to find a way to differentiate. And here's the other beauty of it. The people who I'm reaching out to come on might be my customers. So I'm reaching out to people who I want to sell to, and they think this is like an honor. Oh wow, Ross wants me on his pod. In reality, afterwards I'm gonna be like, thank you so much for coming on. Can I tell you a little bit about this thing? They're disarmed, they feel good, we feel good, we're friends now, we're buds, we talk jokes, we went to a Whole Foods, we're hanging.
Perfect. Ding, what do you have to sell to Ross right now?
Oh man,
You wanna buy a sales rep?
I got a pair of knockoff Chrome Hearts sunglasses.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, we're doing it right now. No, I'm just kidding. So I guess go back to the idea like every company should be a media company.
Right.
Yeah. Or like that's how you market these days, right?
True.
Yeah. I think I would adjust that slightly. Every company that has the skill set to be a media company should be a media company. To your point, not everyone is good on camera. Not everyone understands content. And you should work on that, or you should hire someone that can help you with that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like one of my superpowers is content. So I can use that as my thing with no budget. If my superpower was outreach and I was like a beast at Trigify and all those tools and Clay, all that stuff, and that's probably the growth lever that I would lean into. But because I've spent decades in content, I get that game and I know how powerful it can be. That would be the play I'd love to reach.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I love the through line of all this is you just got to do unscalable things at the start of anything, right? And then as you get customers from those efforts, now you have capital. You can throw cash as growth.
And you got to do things that are. I always say you want to do things that when other people look at it, they're like, "How in the world did they do that? How are they allowed to do that? Two, how did they afford to do that? How much time did it take to do that? How did they get access to that? Like you want it to be something that makes people scratch their heads and say, how did they do it? And if you can do that, you start to win.
Would you rather be great on one channel or good on all channels?
I'd rather be great on one channel. My dad always said it's better to have one good kid than 3 bad. And I think the same thing is right with social media. It's like, I'd rather be excellent on a channel than bad on everything.
If you had to have one channel as a child, what channel would it be?
Ooh, whatever makes them happy.
It's a TikTok.
Yeah, no. No, TikTok's too sketch.
Reddit.
Don't know what you're getting. Nope.
No,
too
no.
sketch.
LinkedIn. You go.
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
I'm going LinkedIn.
Yeah,
YouTube.
LinkedIn's a safe.
I'm going LinkedIn. There's nice and safe.
Yeah,
LinkedIn's safe.
yeah.
I'm doing LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn would be my play.
It's just so hard to do. All the channels amazing.
Yeah.
So
I
if you only
started seeing like cool things happening on LinkedIn though. Like I saw somebody literally today, and they focus on vintage cars. And every day, this lady's just sharing vintage vehicles. I have no idea what her business model is. Like maybe she exports cool cars for people, but like that's a brilliant use case. And I've seen somebody doing health on it, LinkedIn. Like there's some interesting stuff that's translating into LinkedIn now that's not just the standard B2B software, tech, marketing, growth, influencers.
Yeah, I heard there's these two guys in Austin, Texas. Some
One
music videos.
Right. One guy was rapping on LinkedIn a few years ago.
No, the coolest thing I've seen on LinkedIn recently is a guy who does sneaker customs.
Really? And he's on LinkedIn?
He's on LinkedIn.
Let's go.
And then, so part of his offer is the content, but also the shoes. It's like, here's the behind the scenes. And then, you know, in his caption, he'll talk a little bit about the brand that's being activated.
That's smart.
I'm like, that's so different.
That is different. Yeah. That's cool. I got to check that out.
Yeah, I think anything B2C focused on LinkedIn now is cool.
That's true.
So it's a really good time to be on LinkedIn.
It's true.
What's one thing B2B marketers should stop doing tomorrow?
Ooh, I think tomorrow I would love for B2B marketers to stop using AI in the comments, like on the comments on LinkedIn posts. I think it's annoying. It's so annoying.
It's so obvious.
And it's obvious. It's so obvious.
Because what's interesting is the robo comments aren't new, right? No. On Instagram back in the day, it's like fire emoji and like I used to play with some black hat tools back in the day,
same.
Right? But now it's because it will generate like a custom output. And that's the thing is people are just bad at AI because you could do that same model and then just do some prompt engineering, lowercase, right? Sentences no longer than how many words, line break,
100%.
And it would look like a human wrote it.
And that's what I mean. It's like, it's less about not using AI to comment. It's not knowing what you're doing and using AI to comment. Like if you used if somebody put up a long form post and then you were like, I want to respond to this, and you Control-C, Control-V that over to ChatGPT. Then you took your phone and you get a voice note where you're like, hey, ChatGPT, write me a response to this post in LinkedIn. Here's what I'm thinking. And you actually had a human thought from an expert perspective, and you told ChatGPT what you were thinking. Write a reply to this that breaks down these things. This is what I want to say. Boom, it gives it back to you. Then you pasted that, maybe modified it slightly to fit your tone and voice. I ain't mad at you. But when you just say, Ross, what an intriguing post. This was great.
Yeah, when they
restate your post in their own words.
In their own words. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing?
You've added nothing.
Thank you for spreading my content more.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't sound like a hater when it's like people are doing it and it's giving me more reach. But like, come on. I think it's damaging your brand. I love you for spreading my content, but I think it's damaging your own brand.
Causing more harm than good.
It's causing more harm than good.
Not all good PR is good.
No.
Not all good.
Not
PR.
all press is good press.
Boom. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, here's the next one. Asking the king of content distribution, how many times should you post the same piece of content?
Until your audience is tired of it. I would post the same piece of content until my audience starts to say, literally say, okay, Ross, I've seen that enough. And you know when that will be?
Never.
Exactly.
Because you're the big thing that you say is repost your hits.
Yeah. Replay the hits.
Replay the hits. That's the word.
We listen, I'm still listening to like Ja Rule's old stuff, 50s old stuff. Why can't I keep using my old stuff? Like if my content is good today and there's new people coming in the game tomorrow, then I should be able to use my old stuff to educate the new people who are just getting into it. The people who follow you today aren't the same people who followed you before. So to them, it's brand new. Some people might see it and they're like, oh, I saw that before. They actually don't care. It's not going to stir up enough of an emotional reaction to make them hit the unfollow button. And if they do, they probably weren't going to buy from you anyway. And that's also okay because you're in this, hopefully, if you're in business, to make business like outcomes. So if you lose it, you lose it. Cool. Somebody unfollowed you. You know how many people are in the world? Lots. Lots of people.
A lot of people.
Lots of people.
Yeah. How do you remix it though? Do you just repost the same thing or you can remix
it?
It
It depends. Like I've said the words create once, distribute forever a million times in different ways. And I will reiterate that story in different ways. That philosophy, that concept I've talked about so many times, but I just say it with a different story. And I'll have a post that maybe back in 2021 said, these are the ways that you need to distribute your content. You need to use LinkedIn stories. LinkedIn stories no longer exist. I'd be a fool to put up a post that talked about LinkedIn stories today. I would probably get roasted. I would hope I would get roasted by the community and they'd be like, Ross, this doesn't exist anymore. Is this old? I should get called out. So the remix of it and the repurposing is like you have to continue to make your old hits still good. It's like the remix, right? Like if you are remixing music from something that you launched in your early career and then you bring it back to life, you're adding a unique spin to it, maybe throwing in a new beat, maybe you're bringing in a new feature with a hot new artist, right? So the same thinking should apply to this. If I'm talking about distribution, like this conversation, I'm having a conversation with some guys who are in the industry, probably talked about content distribution 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe with some other folks on a podcast, maybe told a couple of the same ideas and stories, but now I'm with you guys, different, right? So I think that's the way that people need to approach it.
What's the most used app on your phone?
It depends on where I'm at. If I'm in China, it's WeChat.
Is it?
It's the everything app. So, you know, your messaging, your social media, your payments, and all that.
Right.
So it's very interesting. Now it's between my email, Slack, and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably actually YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very cool. So it's probably email, which is superhuman for me. I use superhuman for my inbox. I do use ChatGPT a lot. I have conversations with ChatGPT all the time. I'll just like pull it out and brain dump and then see what it gives back to me. LinkedIn, I use a lot.
I did that yesterday. I was driving back. I was just driving.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna sit in silence. And I had an idea for a post, and I started just talking to ChatGPT. And then I'm like, save this for later.
Want to hear a cool? This is, I don't know if it's cool. It's geeky, but I love this. So one of my use cases, I use OpenAI's deep research, and I'll like brain dump this thing that I want to figure out and that I want to learn. It could be anything from like, hey, this is my current situation around how I want to kind of set up my personal finances and trust and will, blah, blah, blah. Give me a breakdown on what I should do. Or I'll do it from a business lens. This is my strategy. I'm going to market. How should I do this? This is who I'm thinking about hiring. This is their situation, blah, blah, blah. Have these in-depth conversations. Then, instead of me reading it, I'll take the response and I'll upload it to ElevenLabs. So ElevenLabs is like an AI voice tool. I'll paste in that text and then I hit play. And I put in my headphones and it will, for like, sometimes it'll be like a 20-minute long post. And I listen to it as a podcast. So the podcast that I'm listening to is actually ChatGPT's response to my personal situation. I was at the gym and I was listening. With ElevenLabs, you can use your own voice. So this was kind of weird. But I had my own voice tell me what I should do in this situation that I was trying to work through with a prospect and a client. And it was like, it was unreal. And then I had it coach me once. I did a talk and I was like, hey, ChatGPT, take my transcript from this presentation that I gave. Here's the audio and give me feedback and break it down in a memo format. Uploaded it to ElevenLabs. I'm going for a walk, listening to my voice, read tips on how I could have been better.
That's fire. Ross, we got to do a... we're going to do a version of this podcast where we replace Jake and I's voice with your voice.
You should. We could do that.
Deepfakes.
It's like Drake featuring Drake.
That's it.
But no, what I loved about your use case there is I think a lot of people are reliant or they have the expectation that AI is good for creating and generating new ideas. I think AI, the superpower is synthesizing inputs, and the more specificity that you give it in the prompting and the research and the data, the better. And to use it as an organization tool of existing information instead of trying to have it create something new, because that's not what it's good at.
No, and I love podcasts. But oftentimes I'll find myself on Spotify like, let's find a podcast where somebody talks about this. Like right now I'm spending a lot of time thinking about mergers and acquisitions in the agency world and stuff like that. So I'll go to Spotify and I'll look that up and I'll find like a couple podcasts that are good. But and then I'll have to listen to ads and sometimes they don't even get deep into it and it's like, this sucked. This is a waste of time. But if I use AI to have the conversation around my situation and what I'm thinking about M&A and all that stuff, and then I throw it up in ElevenLabs, it's giving me a podcast that I know is going to hit exactly the key points that I wanted to. It's insane.
Yeah, it's the world of AI, just getting more custom shit for everything you want.
Exactly.
You're creating content for yourself to consume.
Right. But the crazy part is when I was listening to my own voice, for a second, I thought I was listening to my own voice. Like I thought, did I say this? No, this is AI. It's like, wait, like this isn't
Dude,
me. But it sounds like me.
Talk about an inner monologue.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a whole podcast right there. I mean,
it is.
You could
It's
just
true.
like,
I know, it's crazy.
Ross's deep thoughts.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, this is like, you could streamline that and that could just be something that runs automated.
Could be, I know.
What's one thing you do every day that makes you better at your job?
Ooh. One thing that I do every day is I read things that are outside of the industry. Like a lot of people just become obsessed with just B2B and SaaS. I love going into different niches. Like I'll spend time reading about physics. I'll spend some time reading about biology, meteorology. I went down a deep rabbit hole into the wonderful world of play, like understanding the dynamics of play and the way that it creates a good good environment for us as people and why play is so important when we're kids. And then I take that and I think, okay, how can we play more on LinkedIn? How can we play more as a company and within our culture? So I dive into these little worlds and then I try to extract from them little nuggets. So like when I'm on a call with the team or even a client, instead of just jumping right into it, I'll be like, all right, everybody. And I love this stuff. It's like, has no productivity value, but I hate just being a soup. So I'm like, all right, everybody, what's your favorite board game? And then everybody just like opens up and it's like, instead of us just jumping right into it, let's just jam. And that's been fun. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I find is valuable. Just go into other worlds.
Yeah. Ross, what's your favorite board game?
Ooh, I'm going to get judged on this one. So I'm going to be basic because not everybody can go where I can.
Monopoly.
Go. No, it's Catan. I'm going to go with Catan. It's a
It's a
very
good game.
safe answer. It's a safe answer.
We played Ticket to Ride.
Love Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, great game.
Great game.
That's my favorite
Great
game.
Jake loves that game.
It's awesome.
Play the Europe version a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can get the different
Yeah.
locations.
Right. I've got all the expansion packs for Settlers. It's top notch when you start to throw those in.
Yeah.
It's good.
3D chess.
3D chess.
It's not a real game. It's just a meme.
Fair.
But I do like chess though.
Yeah, I'm
game.
teaching my daughters how to play chess. They've been loving it. It's been good.
I had a follow-up question to
This is the podcast. Jake has the questions button up. I'll throw in a comment, derail everything.
I mean, it's fine. This is the dynamic that we
That's it.
have.
That's
we
it.
gotta Ding spice this thing up.
That's it. Keeps it spicy. That's it.
Me and Dean get inspo. We're not going on LinkedIn to get inspiration. You go on
Right.
other places to get inspiration.
Yeah. Where do you guys go mostly?
YouTube. I think
YouTube?
Creators, entertainment,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. Makes sense.
Music. I mean, obviously hip hop.
What do you think, like when you guys are going into those worlds, like what are the trends? So today, let's think of you're in B2B. You look at the current landscape of entertainment, YouTubers, the folks that are like the goats of this content game. What would you say are the things that they're doing right that nobody in B2B is doing right? What are they doing really well that the B2B audience that we all spend time with are not even close to getting right yet?
Very obvious answer for that is that they create for the audience, in that they create for audience enjoyment. And in B2B, I think most people have this chip on their shoulder or this expectation of we have to create for some kind of measured metric, whether that's engagement, revenue, lead gen, etc. Like with that consideration in the back of your mind, to tie it back to the concept of play, I think a lot of the big YouTubers, successful content creators to a mainstream audience, they are playing. Right. They're in more of a flow state. Whereas a lot of B2B marketers are hamstrung by, we have to answer to sales, we have to answer to executives, the board, with anything that we do on the content side.
Do you think there's room in B2B for more creative excellence? Like
I think in the reason for that,
of course.
But I'll explain the rationale. So the reason that B2C and creator space is so over-indexed on just make the best video possible is everyone in there is trying to make the best video possible.
Right.
The opportunity in B2B is that most people aren't doing that. Most people are, marketing by committee, and they're trying to create something that can get consensus approval within the company. So you don't have to go, to 10. If you go to 7, you're already doing better than most people.
What's 10 look like in B2B?
Stay for 100 hours in the middle of Dreamforce, a small circle, and win.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Win
Something
a deal.
like that would be
something like that.
I think even what Will Aiken did with the hide and go seek thing that you were in.
Yeah.
That he did a Mr. Beast type video where they were did hide and go seek with a bunch of LinkedIn creators.
Okay.
10 of them, and then there was a 10-minute video. And
Wild.
That was dope. Yeah. I thought that was dope.
What's a format I think B2B could use that I don't see anyone doing in B2B is long form video essays. Right, because I think there's something to be said that we've really, as an industry, over-indexed on short-form video content in the past few years. And EventShark, we create a lot of short-form. But a big trend on the consumer side is this concept of companion content.
Okay.
So it goes beyond just a podcast, right, because there's a video component to it. There was a report that came out last year is that a lot of people are consuming content passively now. right? Because a scroll, a vertical video scrolling feed, that's still more active, right? You're interacting with the content. You're making the snap judgment to scroll away. With long form, you press play. You might have it. You're at the gym. You're on a walk. It's just playing in the background. You're doing your chores. You're getting some work done while the video is playing. It lingers in your subconscious a bit more. You might not be paying attention throughout the whole video, but you'll catch bits and pieces here. And no one's thinking about content creation in that type of format in B2B.
So that's the idea that, okay, I'm using this for free consulting. I hope you know that. But it's like, I'm a marketer. I spend 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours, talking about things that are happening in marketing, talking about trends, SEO, distribution, et cetera. And the companion element of that is, one, this is a long form asset that's going to be a podcast, but it's also going to be a video on YouTube, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So like what an example of that might be is the history of SEO and B2B.
Oh man, that's gold.
Right. Like what tools people were using, what the meta looked like.
Right.
And
then if I want to punch up, it's not just me talking. I'm bringing in people from the eras. And having them say, "Oh, you were SEO in 1990. Let's talk about that."
Yeah, it's almost like you're like a historian,
right?
Gold. And like a journalist,
right?
Beyond just like a talking head.
I love
that stuff lives all over you. A lot of my YouTube feed is just like, what's this? What history? The last decade of this NFL team or something like that.
Right. Man, I've got my ideas. I'm not going to say it here, but folks, you're going to see it on social. I've got the idea there. That's gold.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons we wanted to do the podcast too was just people spending more time with you. Versus like instead the short form is not memorable. Like a lot of it's not memorable. You're just like mindlessly swiping versus we might get less views on a long form podcast, but you get how much time with that person.
It's true.
And the trust.
Man, there's so much gold in that. Like we've created at Foundation all these in-depth work. Oh, this is great correlation because like we got our start by writing in-depth long form pieces about like growth strategies. So we took that and then we just did in-depth breakdowns on growth strategies, but on video. I think people would eat it up.
Yeah. And I think the other consideration for like what trends in B2C or like mainstream content that B2B can take from, you also have to look at it from the standpoint of what's possible, right? A lot of the big YouTube channels, Mr. Beast has hundreds of employees, right? On every single video, there's probably 50, 60 people working on that video, millions of dollars being spent. That's not necessarily realistic for the average marketer at a B2B company. With that scope in mind, like why I like video essays is a lot of those are solo creators. A lot of those folks, they might have an editor overseas, but for the most part, they're conducting the research, they're being the camera personality, they're storyboarding and presenting and editing all of themselves.
One of our clients, I won't say names, was a former YouTuber, and now he's making content like that for their software company. I'm like, this is going to be good, especially when they're building it with like YouTube SEO in mind.
Smart. Yeah, it's a good play. Yeah, the brands who get it, they get it.
Yeah, it was a great play. Hiring like a YouTuber to come to your B2B company and make content. It is. There's gonna be people are already hiring creators and stuff like that, but.
Bringing them full time is the key differentiator.
And I really like that you brought up.
I was going to say,
I really like that you brought up the YouTube stuff, just because even Ding, you said it really elegantly. How, people aren't trying to make better content in LinkedIn. It's just like, what can you get approved?
Right.
What kind of video content would you do if you had unlimited budget?
Unlimited budget,
or just like a good amount of budget, maybe not unlimited.
In B2B, if I had, let's say, semi-unlimited budget, I would get the people who aren't already doing the podcast train and doing the like influencer train and try to get their time to be a part of a conversation. So instead of always going into the usual suspects with the content, you have to find people who haven't been on a podcast in the last 5 years, but they still have a loyal audience because they've kind of like, maybe they had an exit and they've left. I'm finding those people. And if I have to pay them, I'll pay them. If I have to fly to them, I'll fly to them. If I need to book a studio in Panama because that's where they're at, whatever it might be, I'm doing that. And I'm going to get exclusive content that has not been produced. And then I'm going to create content like that. But I also, with unlimited budget, hire a bunch of researchers and get researchers to do in-depth data-backed research that no one else is publishing and use that to inform the stories that we tell. So I would hire a bunch of top-tier researchers to run ridiculous studies about a certain audience that I know my customers care about. And then I'm going to create from that research and those studies amazing insights that can be articulated via video. And those studies might be very expensive to run. Like if I want to interview the top CFOs at publicly traded companies, it's going to be really hard to get that data. But if you have unlimited budget, you can get it. And then anybody who targets those publicly traded companies is going to find a lot of value in the video content I would create out of that. So I would create content saying like, I interviewed all of the top CFOs. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact channels that those people use to make decisions and how they're influenced, because I just ran a survey with them. And it turns out that the CFO who led the growth at this company and had a massive exit is on at the last 20 minutes, and we're going to have a quick chat, and there's there. So something like that I think would go really well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not every company does have a limited budget, but
True.
There are some tools out there, Distribution.AI, for example, that helps you multiply your content. What is that exactly? And what made you start that company?
Yeah. So that's where...
And maybe get some context for anyone listening that hasn't had side conversations with you before this.
For sure. So I think once you have the fundamentals of content and you understand that content is important.
What are the 4 things you need for a good piece of content?
You need the 4 E's. And the 4 E's are educational content, engaging content, entertaining content, and empowering content. Educational content teaches people things that they don't know. Engaging content gets them to interact and respond. Entertaining content puts a smile on their face or makes them feel motivated. And empowering content celebrates other people. Once you have those fundamentals, it's now time to distribute that content. And that's why we built Distribution.AI, because we talk to creators, we talk to brands, and the one thing that they struggle with the most is not knowing how to spread those stories after they press publish. They'll write tons of blog posts, they'll create tons of YouTube videos, they'll create tons of podcasts, webinars, etc., and then the content collects dust. So I was like, okay, one, we can create a service at foundation that allows people to do that and distribute it for them. But also with the rise of AI, I was like, okay, is there a way in which we can connect to their RSS feed, connect to their podcast feed, and automatically repurpose and distribute that content for them? And that's what we built on the back of Distribution.AI. So the entire essence of my book, Create Once, Distribute Forever, went into this product, Distribution.AI, giving brands the ability to now take everything they create and always ensure that it's getting spread and distributed online.
And I think that was so important, going back to your 4 E's, is whenever you create content, why are you creating the content?
That's it. You need to know why, right? Like so many people create for the sake of creating. And I think I'm gonna blame the gurus a bit, like myself included. There was a few years where we were all preaching at the top of our lungs, create more content, write more content, be a media company, you just have to produce. And we didn't tell people that you gotta do things with the things you produce. You can't just create content and expect the world to be yours. You have to distribute those stories where your audience is at. And that is a key fundamental element that so many people forgot.
So if you need to create that content, go to Distribution.AI.
That's it. Go to
Distribution.AI.
Distribution.AI. That's it. Distribution.AI. Exactly.
Free sign up, or what's the?
Free sign up. You can sign up for free and get started. You get a little bit of a free trial, and then after that, if you like it, stay on. And if you have feedback, hit me up. I'd love to know what people think of the tool.
Your main thing's though an SEO agency, correct?
Yeah. So my main business is Foundation. We've been working with some of the top brands in SaaS for years, helping them scale their content marketing engines at large, creation strategy, distribution, SEO, all of that good stuff. And now we're spending a lot of time on Reddit. So a lot of our clients, like I wrote my first book on Reddit back in 2018. Now with the partnership between Reddit and Google, brands are starting to come around to realize that Reddit is a great opportunity. So we've been doing a lot of interesting work with our partners, helping them set up their own subreddits. We're managing subreddits for clients. We're creating content on their behalf for Reddit. We're helping them show up in the right keywords associated with their brand.
Reddit's the third most popular website?
Third most popular website in the US. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely underrated. And everybody's scared. Everybody is scared. Marketers break out into hives when you talk about Reddit because for good reason. They got told where to go and how to get there the first time they went on. But like Reddit is a massive opportunity. And I love these sites and I don't want to discredit them, but like G2, Capterra, TrustRadius, all of these review sites and software, they owned the bottom of the funnel.
They're stealing your traffic.
They're stealing your traffic. And unfortunately for them, which again, love everybody who works there, love their teams. Everybody,
no shots fired here.
No shots fired. Their traffic is declining because Google knows that people trust people. And Google is putting people, AKA Redditors, at the top of the SERP for all of this. So those sites have lost a lot of traffic to Reddit, but we continue to pour money into them as B2B marketers instead of thinking, if my audience is actually making decisions based off of Reddit, why aren't we investing there? It's a no-brainer, but so many people are scared. They're all scared. Don't be scared.
Reddit as a content platform is really interesting because it's signaled or it's an indicator of the big shift of internet concentration of attention away from the walled gardens of the past, right? The forums, right? Where they're all independent of each other, and then now Reddit kind of consolidates it. And the other one is Discord.
Yeah.
A lot of usership on that, very high engagement. I'd argue much higher engagement than Reddit, but that's completely unsearchable.
Unsearchable.
Yeah.
And it's chaos. I go into Discord channels and I'm like, am I old? Or am I just like, what's going on? I have no idea what's happening. I go into some of those channels and like, it's mind blowing. We have one client who their audience was very technical and they're like geeky technical. And I was like, all right, we need to do something on Discord. So we went into a Discord channel, we did some strategies and some plays, and we started to distribute their content in there. It was bonkers. Ridiculous engagement, ridiculous traction. It just blew up. It's not always a replicable model, folks. Like, I'm not saying come reach out to Foundation and do Discord stuff. Like, I don't know if I want to do it again, but it's a wild beast. And if you can do it, like, it's a cool play. I think the play with Discord, if I'm a brand, is community management. I'm treating Discord like a community, and I'm going to manage it that way. Reddit, I think, has a lot of similarities in the community side in inspiring UGC, but it has more opportunities because you can run paid advertising in it. So, pro tip, if you have a pricing page, a demo page, put the Reddit pixel on your website and then run remarketing ads to everybody who's on Reddit. It's only going to have a limited cap because not all of your audience is going to be on Reddit, but the people who are there, so you may as well spend money to reach them. That's a low touch, free advice for everybody.
That's fire. Ross, are you ready for your countdown quiz?
Let's do it. Countdown quiz. Let's go.
All right, little intermission here.
All right.
Countdown quiz.
All right, give me 5 channels to distribute content.
Reddit, Quora, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Name 4 B2B companies with a green logo.
With a green logo? Pass. I don't know.
All right,
Green logos?
Name 4 B2B companies with a blue logo.
Man, you're killing me.
Every other company has a blue logo.
Yeah, true. What color is Salesforce's logo? Is that blue? Canva's got purple and blue in there.
We'll count the gradients. Yeah.
Who else? Zoom Info.
Yes.
Zoom.
Boom. We did it.
And Stripe. Stripe.
All
blue?
right.
Bonus one.
Bonus.
Cool.
Stripe's
All right.
purple, isn't it?
I think Stripe is purple.
Is it?
But you got 4. You got Salesforce, Canva,
Zoom.
That's good.
Zoom,
And Zoom
Info.
We'll check the...
Yeah.
Check the gradients.
the logo.
Yeah.
Check it.
All right. What are 3 ways to repurpose content?
Repurpose content. You can chop up a video. You can turn a blog post into an infographic. And you can create a carousel from a status update.
What are the 2 deadliest mistakes that content marketers make?
The deadliest mistake right now is that they're Control-C, Control-V-ing ChatGPT blog posts from one prompt and then thinking that it's going to rank in Google. Hashtag big mistake. And the other thing is that they're creating content without actually having an author page on their blog. Another pro tip, if your website doesn't have an author page associated with every blog post, you're not getting the benefits of having expertise and experience associated with your content.
Awesome. No shameless plug time. What's the number 1 best way for marketers to level up their distribution?
Oh, they have to check out this tool called Distribution.AI. They have to go to rossimmonds.com/book and buy Create Once, Distribute Forever. They have to follow the fine folks at EventShark because they're doing video, right? And then they need to go to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, can you please create a masterclass for me on distribution using Ross Simmonds' material? And then they need to copy and paste the response to ElevenLabs and listen to a podcast about my book.
We only ask for 1, though, so
That's true.
Just follow
That's true.
EventShark.
Yeah.
Don't do the other stuff. So you're like in some LinkedIn creator group?
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's
What's the inside tea?
Yeah,
I'll give know.
The inside tea would be that LinkedIn wants more creators is the biggest piece. And I think like more brands, more people need to create content for LinkedIn. Like that would be my biggest piece of advice. And videos popping off. Like video is one of the number 1 things. So my 2 pieces of advice would be simple for folks. There is a demand for more creators.
And this is LinkedIn telling you.
LinkedIn.
This is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You're in a group.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
LinkedIn is telling
From
you
the
this
horse's
stuff.
mouth.
They want creators. They want to see people create content. They want stories from you. They want you to develop your own personal brand and add value in your niche. They're not saying try to be everybody else. They want you to stay in your lane and create great content. And then on the flip side of that, they're saying video is where it's at. They're seeing more engagement on content that's video focused. Video is winning, and they want to see more video content. And reactive content is important too. So when things are breaking in the news and in the media, they want to see people like talking about what's happening.
The green screen videos.
Yeah, all that stuff, exactly.
They even want we were talking about it. day in the life videos.
A day in the life videos.
I didn't come to spring today, but I was going to do a day in the life video.
Did you do it?
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it? Oh man.
It's hard to do.
It is hard to do. It is hard to do. I think it's valuable.
I mean, Dean was doing a little vlog today.
Did you do one?
I did one yesterday, and I got a few shots in today.
And are you going to do a voiceover with it?
Probably not,
Why?
because I have a cameraman.
So it's just going to be a video?
I talked to the camera.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's not like the typical.
I don't
TikTok,
do the so here's my gripe.
Yeah, give
this
us
is my personal thing.
Give it to us. What's up?
So
spoiled.
I think the selfie vlog, put it on tripod, like Drew, the guy that went to Target with the Drake song in the background.
Yeah.
And then Ashton Hall, obviously.
Yeah.
I should have brought my Saratoga water. That was a miss. That stuff is cool, and it performs well, and the people that are good at it, do very well with it. For me personally, it's not fun for me to create content like that because I'm a personality, right? I'm loud. I can talk forever on camera. I can't shut the fuck up. Yeah. So you point a camera at my face, and we have a show, and I prefer to be a host of a show versus a vlogger, right? So I like when I grew up watching Bourdain and all that, right? I like when I have a cameraman,
right?
And I'm showing people around this. We're at this conference here. Here's what's going on.
Yeah,
right.
That's cool. Yeah. I get that.
But it's personal preference. I'm not saying that
it's whatever.
If your audience wanted the other thing, though, would you change, or are you?
Yeah,
I can see. I would love to see you try to do that though. It could be funny.
Well, I would still have someone else do my shots for me. Because we have the resources, right? Like, because I think that's the thing of content is that a lot of people think content creation is hard because they want to do everything themselves, or they feel like they have to do everything themselves. If you have the resources to delegate, you 100% should delegate every single time.
Right.
And that's only true if you know what good looks like.
True.
Right. But we've put in enough repetitions that we have the right standards of what good looks like. So I know that I don't enjoy setting down tripods and framing my own shots like selfie style. So I'll get someone from the team to do that for me.
So do you look at what is working with other creators, and if they're working and it's working and it's resonating, like, are you willing to shift your strategy to capitalize on it?
Oh yeah,
But your hypothesis today is that that's not working to a level where it's worth shifting your approach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have other stuff that's working already, right? So why would I deviate from what
something's working.
I mean, the strategy to hire a videographer and follow you around, Gary Vee was doing that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years, every CEO is going to, not every CEO, but a lot of CEOs will have that.
Makes sense.
Right.
Makes
and
sense.
I mean, Adam was doing that, 2 years ago for LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, he quotes that it was bad ROI. Everyone still remembers it. Very memorable piece of content. I don't know if you ever saw Adam Robinson's blogs on YouTube.
No.
He had like a cameraman. He did like a 10 series episode.
Really?
It was crazy. It was cool.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
But
how many did it get the views, like the engagement? Like,
I think views. I like the idea of memorable views versus like
who
views.
matters. Yeah, it's like I don't care if you can have 4,000 views, 2,000 views. 1,000 views is perfect if you have the CEO of a Fortune 500 look at it, right? Like, it doesn't matter the volume, the size doesn't matter in video views.
Yeah, but to your last point, Ross, I think. As a creator, you have to leave ego out of the picture. I made my first YouTube video in 2008. Right. And I was younger and dumber, and I didn't have the wisdom of you're serving an audience. As a creator, you're serving your audience. And there's a lot of people out there that, Roberto Blake talks about this a lot, right? Yep. It's like, if you want to have financial success as a creator, it's a job, right? And you're not going to like every aspect of your job. There's a lot of creators out there that, I only will make the content that I want to create, and then they complain about not getting results.
Right.
So I've always been someone, since I started the Sales Rapper, is I'm going to take audience feedback, and if this resonates, I'll double down. If this doesn't, I'll pivot off from it. And I think it's just removing the ego from the creative process.
Cool, I love that. It makes sense. Yeah, I think you have to remove the ego from the process if you want to win online. Yeah, it's key. It's difficult though.
It's super hard.
It's not easy. It's one of the hardest parts.
Yeah.
What's your favorite piece of content to make for yourself, Ross?
I think there's a difference between my favorite piece of content to create and the one that drives the best return.
Let's give us both.
Yeah, so my favorite one to create is in-depth research, written, long-form content. Like, I love just putting in my headphones, going deep into a subject, understanding, analyzing data, pretending I'm a mad scientist and figuring something out, and like getting gritty with data and bringing that to life. that's the most fun type of asset for me to create. The one that tends to drive the best results is like me doing a webinar, me jumping on and doing a presentation of ideas and thoughts and bringing the value and keeping people entertained while also educated. People love it. I enjoy it. It's exhausting because my nickname in high school was Shy Ross. So naturally, I'm an introvert and I want to be in my headphones and just like going. But people love it. So folks, I'm going to keep bringing it. But it's exhausting.
What about you, Ding?
What about me? Well, I like making music. That's the most fun for me to do. And I don't do as much original music nowadays. I do have an album coming out, 8 songs. Coming soon.
When's it coming out?
Well, the Excuse Factory just closed today.
That's right.
So
there's some bangers on there, really good. It's cool to see Ding doing some different types of music that aren't sales rap.
Actually, you know what? My birthday. I'll drop it on my birthday, May 17th.
Let's go.
Is that the one with Eric, or that's gonna be a solo?
The Eric one.
Nice.
You guys gotta drop that.
You gotta drop
it's
sooner.
It's been in the vault. It's been like the Carter.
All right, April 1st. That's a bad day to announce a drop.
April Fool's.
But I like doing original songs. But recently, and this is cool because it's both the highest performing content and something I enjoy doing, is I really, really like making parodies. I grew up watching Weird Al Yankovic, right? Flight of the Conchords. Yeah. There's a saying that humor is just understanding people, right? If you can't relate to people, you can't be funny.
Right.
So, and what I like about parody is you're exploiting an existing piece of art. So you have to learn and understand that original piece of art. I've gotten so much better as a musician from trying to cover people's songs because I had to get buttoned up on my music theory. Why is there a bridge here like this? How are they stacking their vocal harmonies? How's the way it's mixed? And I've gained so many hard technical skills. And as a musician, I love getting better in that aspect. So parody songs.
Cool.
My answer.
I love it.
We have a blast shooting those music videos.
Yeah,
It's so fun coming up with ideas, like how we're going to execute on them.
Yeah.
We have a million ideas that we were throwing around.
Nice. They are cool.
Yeah. To your point earlier, about you got to make content that makes people ask, how the fuck do they do that?
Right.
Like who gave them permission to do that?
Yeah,
like that's where I feel like we're doing some of those things.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to the YouTube content. Like when you're trying to make content on YouTube, you're like, I need to do something that no one's ever done before.
True.
No one does that on LinkedIn. It's always, what can I get approved?
Yeah.
You got to think about, what can I do? I was just even on a call with someone that works on our social team. We're like, we got to think about making content that is actually going to stop people and like this has never been done before.
Stop the scroll.
That's good content.
It's true. Yeah, when you can do that, you've cracked something that's special for sure.
Part of the 4 E's.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
So I think it's a good time to wrap up. Unless we got any final thoughts, any final shout outs.
Thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate it. I've been loving watching you guys' growth, your career, and what you guys are building. Nothing but a fan. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, right back at you.
Dude, likewise, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, lots of. This is one of those ones you got to listen back a couple times.
I like it.
Yeah. So for anyone that enjoyed the podcast, if you go on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, send me a picture, and we will send the first 3 people to do that a book.
I love it. Let's go.
EventShark.
Let's go.
Yeah, go check out the book. Create Once, Distribute Forever. Go check out Ross Simmonds on all channels. Where should they go? Just LinkedIn?
Yeah, check me out on LinkedIn, rosssimmons.com. You can find me on all your favorite social media platforms. I'm there. Add me to LinkedIn. Just make sure that you give a shout out to these 2 guys when you send me the request, and I'll be sure to accept it. I get a lot of those a day.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.